everyone, and welcome back to Comic Beyond Dark Tales. So, today we're going to be covering Ghost Rider's origin from Marvel Spotlight number 5. So, our story starts off where Ghost Rider, he's just kind of cruising around town on a stormy night, and he comes across these guys robbing the store. Well, when they see him, they get spooked because they're afraid that there's going to be a witness to their crime and he's going to rat them out. So they hop in their car and they start chasing him. So Ghost Rider is running from them because at this point Johnny's recently just started to turn into the Ghost Rider. So he doesn't know what's going on. He's kind of scared and he doesn't want nobody to see his appearance because obviously he's a man on fire riding a motorcycle like a monster. So they corner him down a dead end alley, and so they finally approach him and they see what he is, and he doesn't kill him or nothing, but he like spooks them because he sets the ground on fire. Um, so they bug out and he leaves, and he gets back to his apartment, and he's finally starting to turn back into himself. So he's sitting in his apartment and he's trying to figure out like all the details, like when did this all start? Um, so we have flashbacks to his childhood. And I didn't know this until I read it, but apparently Johnny's parents had been killed, and then he got adopted, and by Roxanne, and then her father and her mother, and so they're part of a stunt cyclist show, and for like amusement parks and stuff like that. And so her father's wanting Johnny to learn the ride like they do and be part of the show. So he does, and then something happens and his bike malfunctions, and there's an explosion, and it ends up injuring the mother. And so they're in the hospital, and this reminded me a lot of like the origin to Werewolf by Night. So to where in Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell's mother has Jack promise her that he won't attack his stepfather. Um, in this, on the mother's deathbed, she has Johnny promise her that he won't ride again. Like, he'll stay off the motorcycle. And so he makes the promise, and then after she passes away, his dad starts getting discouraged with him, calling him names, talking down to him, calling him a chicken, and he's scared and this and that because he won't ride the bike. So her father and Roxanne continue the stunt show, and even Roxanne kind of gives Johnny grief because she's like, "Yeah, I don't understand. You know, you were riding with us before, and all of a sudden you won't help us out with the show, and then you really are a coward." And so they end up getting a phone call saying that they got the biggest show of their life. It's going to be at Madison Square Garden, and they're going to do a stunt where they're going to jump like 22 cars and this and that. And as Roxanne gets the phone call and gets the good news, the father, that's when he breaks it to him that he's got cancer, and the doctor's not giving him long to live. And so, discouraged, because they said, Roxanne says, "Johnny, you could take Dad's spot. You can do the jump." And since he promised he wouldn't ride again, he turns her down. He says, "No, I can't do it." And she's like, "Well, Johnny, you're gonna blow our biggest opportunity because you're being a coward." And Johnny, takes off because he's like, "I got to find a way to fix this. I got to try to help her dad." And this is the part I found kind of funny, but kind of interesting. So apparently Johnny was into like satanic books and reading up on the devil and stuff like that. Because he starts pulling out his devil books or Satan books. And his first thought in order to save their father was, "Oh, I gotta turn to the devil and make a wish." So I know that's the origin of Ghost Rider, and I'm fine with that. I just thought it was funny that he was already into this stuff, and he had the books laying around, so that was his first thought. So I found that kind of funny and interesting. So he does that. He ends up summoning the devil to make the deal, and so the devil's like, the deal's done, but just know, when I need you, I'm gonna collect my fee. And so time moves on, and we're at the jump. We're at the Madison Square Garden. So her dad's healed, evidently, and so she doesn't want him to ride her dad because everything just happened, and he's like, no, if I'm gonna, do this, I want to do this my way. And so he goes to jump, and he doesn't make it. Like he This is where the deal that Johnny makes goes wrong, because he got this cancer taken away and he was healed, but he still technically gets taken because he doesn't survive the jump. So technically the deal was upheld. And so I found this kind of interesting too. But so her dad dies on the jump, and then Johnny immediately goes and hops on his motorcycle, does the jump, and completes it. And so Roxanne gets upset because her father just died. Johnny decides he's going to go do the jump, and now she was put through fear that Johnny might not make it. So with everything going on, like, Roxanne's like, I don't never want to see you again. Bye. And so they part ways. And so technically she leaves the show, and so it just becomes Johnny's new stunt show. And so we go back to the present where Johnny's in his apartment, and he's remembered everything, and he's like starting to realize what he had done. And so Roxanne shows up, and then that's when she finds out that he's the Ghost Rider, because he's turned back into the writer. And so it kind of ends to where Johnny realizes what he is, and that he works for the devil now, and that he kind of accepts it, because the last panel is him writing off, and he's like, I am the Ghost Rider. So I actually really enjoyed this. I've never read the origin of Ghost Rider. I've always liked the character. I don't own, of course, his first appearance, but it is in one of my trade paperback collections, is how I was able to read it. But I did enjoy this. The artwork was great. I love the old Marvel 70s artwork, and the 70s style Ghost Rider is just amazing. I would honestly enjoy going back and reading some more of the 70s stuff. But yeah, the origin was pretty much the way I have known it. There was a few details I didn't know about. Like him being adopted, and it was his adopted father that died, and he was raised with Roxanne, all that kind of stuff. I never really knew all that stuff until now, but I'm glad I do, and this makes me want to go back and read the old 70s Ghost Rider stuff. So, that being said, that's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Ghost Rider. And coming up next is where everybody teams up with the Legion of Monsters.